baby girl, we untouchable. We untouchable. Ay. My girl, why are you so beautiful? What did God think that he was doing? Yes, when he...
This episode of Health Vibes is brought to you by the brand you trust the most, Jolly's Pharmacy Limited, leading the way in healthcare.
Introducing Jolly's Pharmacy, brand new website, www.jollys.dm. It's your time to jump the line. Shop now at jollys.dm and have your items delivered in the comfort of your office. No more standing in line. No need to use your lunch hour to shop. Hassle-free shopping, safe and secure. Jollys.dm features rush delivery, 1 hour. In-store pickup, regular delivery, 5 p.m. Cut-off time, 4 p.m. It's your time to jump the line. Visit us at www.jollys.dm. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Jolly's Pharmacy presents a new and innovative radio program, Health Vibes. Health Vibes. Every Wednesday morning on Q95 FM. Health Vibes, hosted by Carlton Lando and Pearl Fontaine Butler. Health Vibes from 10:15 to 11 a.m. It's not just your average talk show. It's appealing and educational with a bit of humor. Real vibes on your health. Now, that's the vibe. Health Vibes on Q95. Every Wednesday from 10:15 to 11 a.m. with Pearl and Carlton. Tune in.
Welcome to Health Vibes, Dominica's most foremost program on health, medicine, nutrition, and wellness, featuring the latest news on conventional and alternative medicine and healthcare. Now, here's your host, Carlton Lando, and co-host, Pearl Fontaine Butler.
Good morning. I feel the energy, I feel the spirit of a Wednesday morning on QFM with Health Vibes. I am your host, Carlton. I am so happy to be connecting with you this amazing Wednesday morning. We have a bit of sunshine and a bit of rain. Beautiful combination on the nature island, Dominica.
That's
Pearl,
right.
You are wearing emerald green this morning. What's up with the green?
And so is our guest, actually. So she got the memo, Carlton. So, yeah, you know, I'm representing my green lush country. I think there's some kind of power in wearing this kind of green. It just makes you feel good and
But
great.
I think it connects with wellness and health and relaxation and tranquility.
It does, because this
and everything.
is the healing of the nation, green, you know, so absolutely. Good morning, Dominica. Let me not forget my manners this morning. I'm hoping all of you are blessed today. We are at the end of August, and can you believe it? We're nearing September, and I can't believe the year has gone by so quickly.
Yes.
My granny would say something like, "Oh, ta kapofite, it's growing so much." You know, it just moves so quickly. By the time we blink an eye, it will be Christmas.
It will be Christmas.
Unbelievable. But, you know, I'm praying that all of you are blessed and well, as we are going to talk about Caribbean Wellness Month.
Yes.
And our guest this morning, Carlton, I think that you should introduce her this morning.
This is Mrs. Toussaint, who is one of government's health educators in the Ministry of Health, more specifically the Health Promotion Unit. A very good friend of mine, as I'm like family member or honorary staff member, extension of
and she has
of
such a
health
great
promotion.
smile, such a great smile.
And good energy. And so Mrs. Toussaint is going to tell us so much about Caribbean Wellness Month, what the ministry is doing, why is it significant, where did it all begin, the whole concept of Caribbean wellness, where did it begin, and just give us some interesting insight on Caribbean wellness today.
And to our listeners, you are welcome to check in with your thoughts, questions, and concerns. You know that you can call up whenever you want. The numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257, or on the overseas line 305-432-9624. You can also join us on our live streaming by going to www.q95da.com and click on the YouTube video stream or icon or player. So, Carlton, should we take a break and come right back?
Yeah, we should.
Okay, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
At Johnny's Pharmacy, your health and wellness is our passion. No wonder Johnny's Pharmacy provides the widest variety of the highest quality vitamin supplements and remedies for your lifestyle activity and nutritional needs. Take care of your body. Get the multivitamins Advantage supply to enhance, promote, improve, repair, and revitalize your body. Johnny's for the complete line of preventative and curative health supplies and tonics. Rejuvenate with men's and women's one-a-day tablets. Boost concentration. Tricentrum Silver and omega-3s to build your immune and nervous system functions, strengthen your cardiovascular system, boost bone health. For stamina, get all your natural balanced megavites herbal supplements, men's daily formula for sexual energy and function, soap palmetto plus supplements to soothe joint pain. Feel like a dynamo, get up and go, catch back your mojo at Johnny's, Dominica's principal healthcare pharmacy. Why? Because you deserve more from a drugstore.
You're listening to Health Vibes.
So we are back this morning and we are going to delve straight into our conversation. So the Ministry of Health, Dominica, will be observing Caribbean Wellness Month in September. Mrs. Toussaint, thank you for being here with us this morning. What is the theme or focus for this year?
Okay, let me say good morning to the listening audience. And it's nice being back on Q95 after a long break, but more so being in the presence of Pearl and our honorable member of health promotion, which is Mr. Lanky Doc. So we are back and we're here to inform you and to give you information that will allow you to change and move into the person that you want to be for 2016 and beyond. So Paul, let me go back to your question. This month we will be celebrating Caribbean Wellness Month. Let me pause to say Dominica is unique because Caribbean Wellness Day is celebrated one day, the second Saturday in September. But we recognize in Dominica, we cannot do one day. So we partnered with a number of persons like Jollies and many, many more others. And we have decided for the past 2 to 3 years to have Caribbean Wellness Month. This year, throughout all the years, the basic theme is love that body. And we went through the lifestyle, the life cycle from baby to adult. We were supposed to end last year with the adults, but because of Erica, we were not able to carry out our program. So this month or this year, we are doing Love That Body, Glow Through the Years. So we have incorporated every aspect of the life.
You know, can I just say something?
Yes.
I love that theme, right? And I remember when I used to live in New York and I would go to work. And whenever I would visit home and come back, they would say, wow, you're glowing. What is it about Dominica? We need to visit Dominica, you know, and this is what Dominica does.
Yes, we're different. And as Lando said this morning, Lanka sorry, your color green speaks of Dominica. My color speaks of Dominica.
That's right.
Nature at its best. And everything we do in Dominica is at our best. And that's the reason why we are glowing through the years.
Yes,
and that's the reason why people don't understand we have longevity down here. There is something special
There was something
happening
special
to us.
You know, and wellness also fits in with tourism.
Yes, it
you know,
does.
we've had this conversation where people get off the ship, you know, from these first world countries and they're coming with diabetes and hypertension and all these kinds of things. When they get here, I mean, there's a force that they just have to just drop their shoulders and just kind of succumb to whatever we have going on here, which is health, which is wellness. And this is great because this is in line with that.
Pearl, health is dynamic. It's a dynamic process and it's always changing. And for St. Dominica, regardless of what, we are very resilient, but we are always changing. There's always something happening that allows us to recognize that part of our lifestyle needs to change. This needs to change. And because of this, we find persons in Dominica, and that's the reason why we can boast of being healthy in the Caribbean, because it's a process that keeps on changing and we are not stagnant, we are changing.
Very good. Now, the theme that was chosen, why was that theme chosen?
Okay, we chose that theme because we wanted to incorporate the seniors in our population. And last year, they were denied the opportunity. So this year, we brought them in. And we didn't just want to keep them by themselves because we recognize the intergeneration is very, very important. So it's like the seniors can't be standing all by themselves, but the youth the senior youth, the babies, the children, we all come together. So it's letting us recognize, no matter what stage that we are, we need to glow. We need to be glowing through the years and letting people see that every stage comes with challenge, but every challenge allows us to give the best that we can be.
That's right.
And then I like the word that you mentioning, the word glow. And you would recognize, Pearl, that in order for you to glow, you must make changes.
Yes,
you must make changes.
Yes. You must go
That's
through a
right.
process.
That's
And
right.
so I think it's not, you don't just get up and just glow.
No,
It's a
no,
If you
process.
want, if you, for example, you have a glass and you want it to shine, you don't. It won't just shine like that.
No, it won't.
So you would either have to put it through a wash. You wash it. You might have to select a special detergent.
That's right.
To
That's
use
right.
on that glass.
That's right.
Then you might even have to use a special piece of cloth to shine it. You're not going to use a wet cloth. So the very same thing applies with our bodies.
Yes, it does.
If we want to glow and we want to remain glowing, we must make the significant
We
changes.
must drink ample amounts of water. We
Right.
must eat a lot of greens, vegetables, all the food groups, not just one or two. So there are many things, and getting adequate sleep. There are many things that we can do.
Right.
You know, absolutely.
Reduction of alcohol,
Yes, all of
smoking.
this.
But Mrs. Tuse, I am more particularly interested this year that when we were looking at the preparation of Caribbean Wellness Month, one of the variables that came up was smoking. The whole concern about smoking, particularly by our young adults.
Yes.
More and more when we go out. I mean, you go out, you go to a village feast, you go to a little lime, and you cannot avoid but somebody is smoking around you, and you will inhale some type of smoke, whether it's marijuana, whether it's tobacco. And so more and more it's becoming rampant among our populace that many of our young people, particularly our young men, and many of our young ladies too, are now indulging in the practice of smoking. Why is it that the Ministry of Health felt that it was so significant to actually put some light on this type of practice?
Okay, let me just go back a little. Now, when we look at tobacco is a product, and the only product that kills its users instantly. Is the only product that kills its users instantly. So the very first puff that you take in damages the brain. All right? So tobacco is a product, as I said, that kills instantly. It's the single most preventable cause of diseases. But yet still, we find persons indulge in smoking, especially youth. And just to go back to your question, there was a survey that was done, Global Youth Tobacco Survey, 2000, 2004, 2009. And I have the results before me in Dominica. And we saw that a number of our young persons, and that survey was done within the secondary schools, first form to third form. You can remember that, 13 to 15 years. And it was alarming to see the number of young persons that were exposed to smoking and were already smoking in just secondary school, because in 2000, we had about 27% of our young persons exposed to smoking. Then we had about 26% of them already involved in smoking. Okay, and because of this, we recognize this year we just cannot sit idle by, because we need to really speak about the effect of tobacco smoke. And we may have to say also marijuana, because our young person maybe say they don't smoke tobacco but they smoke marijuana, but the marijuana have the very same harmful effects like the tobacco itself. And sometimes our young persons involved in smoking, and they are so selfish when they smoke, they forget the environment that they are sitting in. So the secondhand smoke is even as much as dangerous as just the smoking. So what we want to do is allow the young persons to recognize that the NCDs that we now see creeping into the Caribbean and Dominica in particular, that is the non-communicable diseases like cancer, hypertension, diabetes, smoking is one of the risk factors.
Yes.
Smoking is one of the risk factors. And I remember being a nurse for donkey years. I saw the grown-ups coming down with NCDs. But before I left my transition from district nursing into health promotion, I was now seeing not children, but young persons, 25, 29, 30, hypertensive. Where is that coming from? Yes, they are physically active, but your health and wellness is not just about physical activity.
Right.
It entails more than that. Your spiritual state of mind, your social state of mind, all of that comes together with wellness. And that is the reason why this time we just decided we're not going to sit idle. We're going to let the general public, our Dominican young persons, know that smoking is dangerous. It affects them because the nicotine, it becomes addictive. And when you're addicted to something, you need it over and over. So as a matter of fact, when you smoke a cigar, the most smokers will take about 10 puffs. Now you have the chronic smokers, 20 packs, that is 200 puffs, in your system. In the system. And that's the reason why they behave the way that they do. And we have decided to speak about the effects of tobacco, because it's not only affecting us as individuals, it affects family because of the money spent. It affects the economy because the government has to spend so much money on health, especially the treatment of diabetes and hypertension. So it's important that we speak about tobacco, and we need to talk about it in the youth, because there will be generation tomorrow, and the practices of today will affect the actions tomorrow and also their health.
That's very
Let me
true.
just, I'm really feeling the passion. I just wanted to share with the viewers some statistics that comes from America. And they're saying cigarette smoking causes more than 480,000 deaths per year.
That's
and that
so true.
People that just wipe off the face of the earth per year. So we're talking about almost 500,000 people die in America alone per year from cigarette smoking. And they were saying it is actually one of the most preventable form of death if you really just actually stop smoking. Now, I was looking at some of the causes. So they say smoking causes stroke and coronary heart disease. It can actually cause cardiovascular diseases, heart problems. Your blood vessels will be damaged from smoking, right? You can also end up having high blood pressure from smoking. You can end up having cancers, particularly of the lungs and the mouth and throat. Asthma as well, emphysema, chronic bronchitis, and also chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And this one is really, really bad. That's when they actually walk with an oxygen tank everywhere they go. They cannot really even talk because of that problem.
But I'm listening to this, and what this is telling me is that a lot of what we go through as people is self-inflicted.
Yes, they are.
And I mean, why are we not thinking wisely? Why are we not making healthier choices? The onus is on us. We have to take our responsibility of our own health. I looked at this quote the other day that said, wellness, the definition, taking responsibility for one's health.
That's it.
One's health. That's it. That's it. But why are we not doing that as people? And it reminds me of the scripture that says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. We don't. It's like we don't know. We have no idea. And I think it's about time that as a nation we need to come together and really teach each other, and like what we're doing today with you being here, Mrs. Toussaint, and making a conscious decision to say, you know what, these things are unhealthy for me, although they're here to deter us. But listen, this is not healthy. Smoking is not healthy. I've never put a cigarette or a blunt or weed to my lips. This is just crazy to me. We have a caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning to you, madam.
Program to you and the panel and the listeners.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much.
Having said so much about cigarette smoking, what is the significance of having the cigarette factory right in the heart of the city of Roseau? What is the purpose of making the cigarettes? Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's a very sensitive question that you've asked. I think it is one that has to do with legislation. At the same time, too, we live in a country that is quite democratic, and we believe that people have choices. Just like we would have the same debate about alcohol being sold at every shop, and why you buy in your groceries, the very same shop that sells the good food for your daughter or your child, that same shop will be selling alcohol as well. But at the end of the day, we all have a choice as to whether we want to consume this product or not. whether we want to eat fish or chicken, whether we want to have rice or have, another food. And I think the same thing applies to the question that you've asked. I know it's a very sensitive one, but I believe that it is one that every one of us, if we all decide to make a particular change, then it would mean that some of those products would have no significance in our society, and therefore some of these companies that sell and do these products would actually have to make some changes.
That was a great question.
Yes.
A great question.
Yeah, it was a very great question. But as Mr. Lankidog stated earlier on, it has to do with policies. It's not an overnight thing that just come up. But then the reason why we are here is to empower the general public. Right. So if you know the effects of tobacco on the body, and you know the effects not just on your body, but if on your economy, you're spending money, then you will take action. Because the good thing about it, when you are informed, you make informed choices, and your informed choices is to lead you towards health and wellness. So we appreciate the question, but we are there to inform you. We can only do this part, and the next part is done through policies and governmental.
Okay, we have another caller. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What it is that sometimes you go to a doctor and you find the doctor is smoking cigarette. What signal is this sending to the patient?
That's another very interesting question that you've asked, and I think many times we define our health providers, or we look at them as the key examples. If you're promoting health, then wellness and health should be exemplified by you. And so many times, sometimes what maybe it would be good to do is to ask the doctor in a very nice way, but doc, why are you smoking?
But
and then maybe a reality will hit them that that a patient is asking me that very same question when I'm telling them then they should not smoke.
But this is the thing, like you said earlier, we all make choices, and we need to start looking at doctors as human beings.
Right.
They are human beings. They're not gods. Like, for instance, when my grandmother gets sick, before I take her to the doctor, she will tell me everything that's wrong with her. And when we get in front of the doctor, it's almost like she's waiting for the doctor to tell her what's wrong with her. She doesn't want to ask any question. I'm saying, Mom, you have to ask questions. You have to tell him everything that you've told me. Tell him, because he is human. It's not like you're going before a deity and you don't know how to speak. I mean, we need to really look at them as human beings, and they too can make choices for their own selves. You have another caller. Good morning, caller. Good morning. Okay.
Yes, and I was just to support what you're saying. Sometimes we go to the doctor and we get afraid of the doctor. It's like everything just go behind our head. We can't remember what we step into. And even when we see them doing things that we know is not right, I mean, it's the onus is on us to really say to the doctor, Doc, but why are you smoking? Maybe that would be a wake-up call to him, because he may recognize, okay, my patient is asking me while I'm smoking. But yes, still we want to let you know that nicotine in the tobacco is very addictive, and it's a way of relaxing. And the doctors sit here for hours, person one upon the other. That doesn't give them the right to smoke. But because of the addiction that they are doing it, so we have to let them know, but doc, why are you smoking? Why is it you have a cigar? I know it's not good for your health. So that would be a wake-up call for them, so we can assist them.
Good morning.
Good morning, caller.
Hello, let's just be real. Sometimes you go to a doctor and you can't even ask them what is wrong with them. Yet with you as a patient, what is your complaint? What is your diagnosis? Yet alone to ask the doctor, why is he smoking? Let's be real.
Yes, I am being real. And you know why I'm smiling at the back? You can't see me. When I visit a doctor, I'm never busy. I sit and I stare the doctor down. And after he's finished writing, I look at him. I say, you finished, doc? I say, I've just started.
Right.
Yes.
But I have empowered myself in that way. I have just started. I now start telling him my problems.
Yes.
Because he may have my records and may have a few things there, but I didn't come for the past records. I came with new problems. So I sit, we laugh, we talk. So it's something we have to develop. It's not something that just come automatic, sweetheart. And I'm trying to be very real, because I want persons to know when we step to the office, no matter how busy the doctor may seem, that it's your money.
That's right.
And you have to pay the doctor.
Listen,
so you
exactly
sit, you sit, and even if you hear him say next, don't be deterred by this. Just sit there and tell him exactly what you came to do. When you are satisfied for your money's worth, you say to him, thank you.
Yes.
And you can even say to him, listen, doc, I feel like this process is being rushed.
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
I need to really sit and speak with you.
Yes.
Right.
And you have to ask the relevant questions. I remember going to doctors in London. They're just like that. They will look at you. They'll tell you. They won't even look at you. As a matter of fact, they will say, "Okay, tell me what's wrong," and they'll be writing it out. And okay, here's your prescription. Okay, bye. That's the end of it. But no, you have to find a doctor. Having a doctor means that you build a relationship.
With the
It should be a relationship. So you should be able to go there and talk
Right.
and say how you feel, even if it has nothing to do with an illness per se. It could be something psychological.
True.
But that psychological issue can trigger, let's say, something else. So
right.
you can talk to your doctor.
You
Don't ever be fooled. And if you cannot, then you need to get
should
another
change your
doctor.
doctor.
Of
That's
course.
it. We
Next
have another
caller. Good morning,
Good
caller.
morning.
Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning.
Morning to you. How are you?
All right, thank you.
Very nice.
Welcome to my good program.
Thank you.
Some weeks I've not called, I'm just listening.
Okay, great.
But I want to give a scenario, no name, about two different type of doctors.
Yes.
Okay.
I visited a doctor somewhere once, some 3 months ago. It's not a private doctor. Anyway, the minute I went in front of this doctor. You know when you are sick, and as though you get more sick? No, because the doctor face alone turned me off, and the way she spoke to me, I say, hi, hello. You know when a patient come in front of a doctor, whether you get medication or not, you're supposed to feel a little well.
Yes, I understand.
Because you're happy you are in front of a doctor.
Yeah.
I tell her, if I was someone suffering with heart problem, I fall in front of her. I tell it to God, because you see me, I don't send and see. I say it as it is. So she pick up herself. She say, why? I said, no, your face, your
demeanor.
The way you react, the way you speak to a patient. The patient must get more sick. And she realized, well, I know what I'm talking about. When I was going, I said, anyway, for the 29 years I worked certain place in that health department, I've never seen that. You are the first
Wow.
I'm seeing. And she was surprised. When I reached out there, I understood, well, it's time that somebody did put that person straight, whatever. But I would not take it and just go like that. No, my private doctor, no, I'm visiting my private doctor. Sometimes, praise God, I'm not gone to him, and thank God that I am okay. But when I go to him and he knows me, and then sometimes out there is full of people, I cannot say he don't know what to do. He's a very good doctor. And then he turn around and then he tell me, such and such, it's okay, look that. I said, but doctor didn't do that. Then he will tell me, oh, yes, thank you, so-and-so, for letting me know. He don't feel no way. You understand? But I will not go like that. I will remind you, I was expecting you to do that, and you did not do it.
That's
and
right.
you don't feel no way.
No.
And that is the rapport I have with my people. You understand?
That's what you're
right.
supposed to have.
That's
Very
Everybody.
well.
exactly
Yes.
right.
Yes, I'm listening.
Thank you.
Lola.
Thank you. So I was doing a little calculation,
Yes.
Mrs. Toussaint, on just a scenario on tobacco.
Yes.
So let us assume that a pack of cigarettes is sold at $6.50 for a pack, and the person smokes 3 boxes or so per week. That amounts to $19.50 for the week. And if you have to multiply that by 52 weeks in a year, that they would have spent $1,014.
Wow.
Carlton, when something is habitual, people are not thinking of
No,
the cost.
they're not.
It's a habit. It's
It's a
like,
habit.
give me more.
It's an
I need more.
addiction.
It's an
It's an
They're not
addiction,
thinking about how much money. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking, I need to go and get some money to go and get this thing. Like, for instance, I know somebody who is on dialysis, but he was an alcoholic. And even though he's on dialysis, that still hasn't triggered in his mind
That he
that I
needs to
should not
stop.
be drinking. This is crazy to me, but it's the world we live in, and
That's how it
people
is.
make choices. We cannot make choices for others. You know, we can only help to set them on the right path. But Mrs. Toussaint,
Yes, dear.
about Caribbean Wellness Day
Sure.
in particular, can we discuss that and where that came from, where that was derived from?
Okay. Caribbean Wellness Day originated with at the Port of Spain Declaration, that's where all the ministers came together and they recognized that NCD was a problem in CARICOM. So they all signed up and decided that we're going to move from where we are to somewhere different. And that's where the birth of Caribbean Wellness Day came into play. And where if you go all over the CARICOM countries, 2nd of September is that day where persons are involved in activities that would create an awareness of what health and wellness is all about.
Right, and that's the second Saturday.
The second Saturday.
Okay. And this year's theme
is, for Dominica, we have Glow Through the Years. We have Tweeted It a Little.
Oh, okay. But the Caribbean Wellness, their
we
theme
still have
is-
Love That Body, but it has to do with health and wellness. Health and wellness.
Okay. That's interesting.
And so usually what you'd find happening, I know that the Ministry of Health is very, very much instrumental in ensuring that this day is a productive day. And so many of the health districts, they would have their own programs.
That's right.
Sign up their own programs. So you have mass aerobics, you'll have walks, you will have campaigns, you will have health discussions, you will have panel health discussions, you'll have debates, you will have, many things or anything that would actually promote health. One of the things I know that the Ministry of Health has done, and I know Mrs. Tuse would agree to, is that they've collaborated very nicely with the public sector and NGOs, and then even with their own planning, they always invite us to be part of that planning, and all thoughts are come together, and we decide. But many companies as well, come up with their own programs, so they partner together to make programs happen. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning to you. How are you?
Yes, Mr. Fontaine. Good morning, Miss Fontaine, and my good friend. Good morning. How are you guys?
Good morning to you, my caller.
Good morning.
Yes, man. Let me. Earlier on, your guest mentioned about being addictive to cigarettes and stuff like that.
Yes.
Right? And a lot of people use that very same reason for not quitting or not stopping. Right. Now, my question is, why would someone who spend most of their life smoking, and they find themselves in a situation where they can't smoke, not that they don't want to smoke, they can't smoke for 2 years, 3 years down the line, and as soon as they get out of the situation, they're right back into smoking. What would cause one would do that, all they knowing that smoking is not good for them, and they get the opportunity to quit, to leave it, because they left it for 2-3 years. Why would they come back into it? Thank you very
That's
much.
a good question, and there's several factors. One of the things that I have seen, though, and I'm speaking as a pharmacist, association,
And stress.
Some people go back to the same old friends, that the same shop, the same bar that they would frequent before, and all of those, the same habits would be right in front of them, and it's easier for them to get trapped. Many times people do not get the psychological help and the coping techniques as to how do you combat the urges when it does come. And that is why it's very important, because you may find people are incarcerated, for example. Many times you find people who are drug addicts, they were arrested and they have been placed in prison, and they come out of prison and they look quite well. And then time you look at, you give them 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they're back in line to the very same habits. And sometimes, yes, they may have their own internal, what we call demons or issues that has plagued them. So that is why it's important that they do get psychological therapy and support groups. We have the AA, Alcohol Anonymous group. You could find, if you're part of a church, you can speak to your pastor, and nothing wrong when you feel weak, the urge to have a lifeline. And I always say that it's good to have a lifeline. The very same thing for someone who is depressed and may be suicidal, that there should be somebody that you can call that that is sensitive to your own issue or fault or struggle, that can be an interventor to you, that can be a bridge to you, and can tell you, I'm coming to check you right now. And that's important. And I think that's the type of dialogue that we need to have. It's not merely just saying, do not or stop something, but what interventions do we as a society bring to the people who are struggling with those addictions?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yes, and even to support Mr. Lankadock, Because when we talk about smoking, we talk about secondhand smoke. We talk about environmental smoke. Now, you may be out of smoking for about 2 years. But as we stated earlier on, it's addictive. Remember, it just takes a split second for that smoke to get into the brain and give you that kind of high that you're looking for. So you may be out, you're in an environment that it was clean, but you get out into an environment, you go to a park, and a group of guys all around you smoking. Right then, the smell gets back. It's something your body already accustomed to. So right away, the brain sends a message. You need to take a smoke. And then without even thinking or even realizing your action, you have a cigarette to your mouth. And that's what, one puff, and that's it. Because you already had the habit, and it's easy to just start smoking all over. So as you said earlier on, you have to look at your environment. You have to look at the persons that you hang up with. You have to look at where you go. If you go to a bar and everybody around you is smoking, it's quick that you'll pick it up. If you go to some other function and it's party and rum and smoke, you will keep smoking. But if you go to an environment where you just maybe look at the river meander downstream with a few friends, you have a party but no smoke, nothing, you tend to be able to recuperate and do much better than being in the environment where smoking is.
Yeah, that's true.
Good morning, caller. Thanks for holding.
Good morning.
Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning.
Thanks for your patience.
Okay, no problem. I heard the lady spoke about the environmental smoke.
Yes.
I think we need to stress a little on that, because there are a number of communities that people live in very close proximity, and people are still in the habit of burning. And they do not only burn, let's say, leaves, and so they burn
plastics,
carcinogenic. And then you, in the environment where that is being done, you inhale that said smoke. I think we need to probably educate the populace more on the dangers of that type of smoke, apart from focusing on the cigarette and other types of smoke. But the environmental smoke is a very big factor. And where I live, I see it and I complain every day. There are times I have to close my window, even apart from what it will do to your clothes if you have laundry drying. But the mere fact that you have to inhale something where plastics or other type of chemicals are being burnt and you're subjected to inhaling that involuntarily, I think we need to spend some time.
Very good. I like the you broaden it a bit. I know when I lived on St. Kitts Pearl, one, and again it comes right back to policies and legislation. When I lived on St. Kitts, one of their laws is that if you're going to burn anything in your vicinity, your yard, you must inform the health, the fire station, the fire department. It's illegal to just burn things in St. Kitts. That's the law. So you would have to call them or let them know that you're going to burn something. They may ask you questions X, Y, Z before it's done.
Okay.
You know, so sometimes, so even with these things, maybe even community groups can begin to rally and say, well, you know, in light, even though if we're talking about smoking, whether it's voluntary or involuntary smoking, all smoke is smoke and can be harmful. Let's put a petition before government and say, well, you know, government, this is what is happening. What can you guys do for us? Because I have problems with that too. Sometimes you find people will say, well, they don't want to burn in the day when it's very windy. They prefer to burn after 5 in the afternoon. That's the time when you are coming home with your kids and you want your own peace and quietness and your whole house full of smoke. It's very agitating, you know. And as the caller said, there are many micro substances, inert substances that are in those chemicals, in the items that we burn, that can be carcinogenic, and that can definitely cause a lot of problems for us, such as sinusitis, rhinitis, asthma, you know, all of those things, respiratory diseases. And so we need to be more, not just be mindful, but sensitive to our neighbors as well, you know, and even be nice and say, well, neighbor, I need to burn something. Is it okay? It's not going to take, I have a hose, I'm going to out it after 10, 15 minutes, you know, so we have that dialogue. And so we, you know, so we can, you know, but when you just burn thing and you don't tell anybody, and, you know, it's not fun, it's not nice. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning to
Am I
you.
live?
Good morning.
Yes, you are.
You are live.
Okay, great program, I have to tell you guys, but I have a question. I'm not sure if you guys touch this topic, but what about smoked meat and smoked chicken? I mean, I didn't hear anything about this, and I just wanted to know, does it have the same effects?
Okay.
And do you have the same recommendations for people who eat tons of smoked meat and smoked chicken? That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to speak on that as a pharmacist. From what I know, all smoked meats, they normally will contain some levels of nitrates.
That's right.
And nitrates have been shown to be carcinogenic, meaning it can cause cancer, particularly stomach cancer. But that would be you have to be eating tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of smoked meat, like for almost like habitually.
Yeah, but this is the thing though. If every day or every Saturday you're having a broth with smoked meat, after a while, it can have an effect. I actually stopped eating. Well, when I stopped eating chicken, I stopped eating smoked meat because I knew of this.
Yes.
You know?
So that's one of the concerns. And actually the World Health Organization, I think last year, they actually confirmed that many of the processed foods, particularly the salamis and so forth, they contain nitrates, which are carcinogenic.
I wanted to say something about the smoking and the drinking that becomes addictive. I read something recently that talked about sugar. Sugar is a drug because it becomes addictive, and we don't realize that as cigarettes, as alcohol. But there's something inside of us, and even for adults who may say to a child, come and taste this beer.
Yes.
We're actually exposing that child to have addictive behaviors at a young age. It's actually not good to do. It's not a great practice to say, come and taste this beer. You know. And the thing is, what I read was that there's something inside of us that begins to then crave this thing and yearn for it. And as we get older, sometimes this is how somebody becomes an alcoholic.
Yes.
Because this thing has been in them since they were a child. So we really have to be mindful.
Even the habit of sending your children to buy alcohol or tobacco in the shop.
Yes.
Go and buy 2 cigarettes for me. Go and buy 2 beers for us while we play dominoes.
Right.
Those are things that we see happening in our society, and those are things that we need to really put legislation, because it's a form of abuse. When you send an underage child to purchase
alcohol or cigarettes,
some type of drug for you, it's involuntarily you're abusing the child, and you may not even recognize that you are, because you're using the child to actually peddle something that child should have no indulgence, no type of link with.
I remember when my grandfather used to smoke cigarettes, and one day when we moved to Dominica, I said, Daddy, why are you smoking cigarettes? You always tell me this is not good for you to do. Don't do it, but yet you're doing it. And he stopped. He just decided, you know what? That's it. I'm not doing it anymore. But the thing is, with me, and I think there's a handful of people like this, if you tell me not to do something, I will not do it. And we need to learn from people who have done certain things, who want to spare us from those kinds of things,
We have a caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Talking about only to pick up smoking, but smoking really a cultivation. But I just like to take time off and call and compliment Jolly Pharmacy.
Thank you.
Hello, Jolly. Carlton.
Yes.
Actually, is the only pharmacy which really accept driving, like giving medication on credit, and it's very good. But since there is a doctor prescription, I think multi-biota really is a medication which really chase away, disinfect multiplicity. It really destroy this disease. So
all right, caller. We want to thank you for calling and for making your contribution and for bigging up Charlie's Pharmacy in terms of the work that we've been doing. But I wanted to say something, Pearl, along the smoking. I'm a little passionate about the smoking. My dad was a chain smoker. I think my dad I sure my father was maybe smoking like three packs of cigarette per day. And one of the things that we found out is that chronic smoking, usually people who are chronic smokers or alcoholics or whether some type of substance abuse, they usually suffer with depression or have some type of mental disorder. And they use that habit merely to mask their own internal pains and struggles and that type of thing. And that is why the intervention of therapy is very, very important, whereby you can really look within yourself.
Okay.
What is causing me? Why can't I not live this? Why can't I not, so people smoke, just smoke and smoke and smoke. I mean, my father could smoke. My father was an introvert, so he would smoke and just read books. So as he's reading, he's smoking. As he's reading, he was never a person that really into people. But if I were to really get into his own psyche, you would recognize that he may have been a very lonesome person that may have his own internal pains and struggles that he may have had to deal with. And so I think that when we talk about the substance abuse and the cessation, why it's necessary to stop, reduce, the urge or the frequency of smoking, we must look at the other side of the coin. How do we help these people to cope? How do we get so that's why it's important for pastors and other significant like nurses, like Nurse Two said, other significant exemplary people in society to embrace these people, to actually find ways to hold and have dialogues with them that they can see the worthiness within themselves, why they were created, what is their significance. Because a lot of these people, when you do talk to them, they feel worthless. They feel like they have nothing to live for. They feel like, well, so even if you tell them you're going to die, they're like, well, anybody have to die anyway, so I don't care. And at the end of the day, when they die, they don't want to die. When the reality really hits them that that they have a complication, and they most likely it's going to cause it's they're on the dying bed. They really would have wished that they had not done what they had done.
That's a
and so it's important. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
A blessed and God-filled morning to you and yours. Good morning, Dominica.
Good morning. Our favorite
Very
Barbados
interesting program.
Yes, good morning.
Here in Barbados, there's a law like burning, like
bush
people
and
burning. We call it stuff and
debris,
things like that. But we are flat and not as big as yours, so it is our duty to call the fire service. And they come and they're out. They're out the fire. We are warned on the radio and the television not to burn. If we are gonna burn, we are going to burn in a can, and like things that like would carry off toxins. We are not allowed to burn like plastic and those things. So and secondhand smoke, I feel that's what my mother probably got cancer from, because my stepfather, he was a compulsive smoker. And we would keep warning him, and he would say, well, you got to die somehow, but
yeah, that's selfish.
Him, I think he lived about 3 to 4 years with cancer, and took about a year and a half he couldn't move at all. So he got paid for his stubbornnness. Secondhand smoke is one thing, and then people who suffer with asthma then, and who inhale all this more. And another thing too is that Sahara dust here in Barbados. Our government they're monitoring it to see, because we having a lot of people even dying from asthma attacks daily. And they now are monitoring for any time the dust start. They're testing it to see if there's something in it that causing sickness too, and these attacks. So
yes.
I guess y'all probably could start doing the same thing too.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you,
caller.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And I just want to tell our general public that there is so much poison in tobacco. I'm just going to name a few of them. For instance, the nail polish, what we put on our nails, that is in tobacco, which is the acetone. The carbon monoxide that is being exhaled from your vehicle, that's in tobacco smoke. The ethanol, the rocket fluid, is in tobacco smoke. Insecticide products, these are part of tobacco.
That's a poison.
The mothballs, what we call the naphthalene, that is found in tobacco smoke. So I just name a few. That's the number of poisons that we pull in. And tobacco, the tar alone has 4,000 toxins.
Wow.
So imagine the amount of toxins we bring into our bodies. That's the reason why cancer is so common in smokers. And also too, smoking is one of the predisposing factors to number of the NCDs.
Yes.
Because it really destroys the body. It really, really destroys the body.
Ms. Toussaint, I wanted to ask you, what are some of the activities that are going to be held for this month?
Okay. We have a number of activities. We have marriages taking place. We are now married to Jolly. It's a continuous marriage. We just renewing our vows on a year-to-year basis.
I was going to say married.
Yeah, yes. We're renewing our vows.
Getting married, okay.
You know, we have the Dominica Diabetic Association and the Dominica Council on Aging. They have joined together. So we have our Carbon Wellness Month Media Lunch, hoping to take place on the 7th. We have the Grand Bay Health District and staff going into some yoga sessions. We have a walk for lupus on the 9th.
That's right.
Right, on the 10th. We have Dominica Diabetes Association and the Dominica Council on Aging having a Grandparents Appreciation Day. That is part of health and wellness and will be under the patronage of Ophelia Marie. And then we have the Dominica Seventh-day Adventists having an expo. As a matter of fact, they have a whole week of activity running throughout. We have the Dominica Council on Aging again, this time having a fashion show at Anchorage Hotel. So it's a lot of activities. Cassie Bruce is now having a sports day. In Cassie Bruce, Grand Bay is also having a sports day and mass aerobic. Portsmouth Health Team is having a fair at Tebow and also sporting activities between the team and villagers. We also have again the launching of our NCD commission, that is non-communicable disease. We have a commission that will be launched. We have the Dominica State College coming to a debate, and that debate is on tobacco. And we have the UE branch being involved. We have the Dominica Cancer Society. We'll be also having a walk with them. We also have a fair downstairs of the Financial Center, and that is Health Promotion Resource Center, where we have Jolly, cannot miss. Jolly is teaming this time, not with St. Joseph Health Team, but with the Grand Bay Health Team. So Jolly is always here with us, and that time at the Baptist Church, Mr. Lancadoc. And some of the activities are forthcoming. We haven't yet placed it on our calendars because we just had our stakeholders meeting sometime earlier this week. So some of them haven't yet sent it to us, but all throughout the month we'll be having activities. Thus far, those have already been confirmed and are taking place on the days mentioned.
Right.
Very interesting.
And so we're so happy that we are working with Ms. Alexander and her team in the Grand Bay Health District, and so we'll be having a mass health screening, Jolly's Pharmacy and the Grand Bay Health District. That's going to be on the 22nd of September on the big 7th tent. We've also, one of the things that we've also done too is that during the community screenings, we've worked with Ms. Samuel and the HIV Secretariat to actually do free HIV screenings too. So that will be offered as well on that day. Mrs. Toussaint spoke about the debate on tobacco at the college. Jolly's Pharmacy is sponsoring that debate.
Very wow.
And so we will be giving the winners prizes for that debate. And I'm very happy that the talk on tobacco has to continue.
Absolutely.
Not just tobacco, but marijuana as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important that every district gets on board to really, come up with programs as to how do we get our young people, restraining themselves, avoiding that deadly practice, because it is a deadly practice.
It is.
You are not young forever.
That's right.
And so what we do right now will impact our future, and it will impact our life expectancy. And so your health is an investment. It is one that you have to forever invest, and invest positively. But it begins with a mind change.
That's right.
It begins with association. It begins with making wise and prudent decisions each day. Because we all could be smoking. We all could be drinking. We all could be wasting our monies away and don't care. We all could decide we're not bathing at all.
Yes.
But we get up in the morning and we take a shower. We brush our teeth. We do the right things. We put deodorants on. We do all of these things. Because we recognize that our bodies need to be smelling good and taken care of, or else this is what's going to happen. The very same thing with substance abuses. We have to make that conscious decision to avoid those things. I mean, Mrs. Tusa just mentioned 4 of these deadly chemicals that's already in tobacco, and that in itself is
that in itself is an indication for you not to put anything to your mouth. Hello, like, why would you want to? You might as well just go behind the bus and put the exhaust in your mouth.
You understand?
Like, come on, we need to stop. We really need to understand exactly what it is that we're doing, what we're dealing with, and what was meant for the body. Your body is your temple. And
Pearl, let me really take the opportunity to thank Mrs.
Yes,
Tusa. I truly love her energy, and I know we will have her on board again, because I'm sure she was like, wow, we should have another hour again.
Yes,
we
definitely.
are very happy to have brought Health Vibes again to you. This other episode, brought to you by your very own pharmacy, Jolly's Pharmacy. I'm your host, Carlton.
And I'm Pearl Fontaine Butler.
I'm Adora Lebla to say.
All right, see you next
Have a
time.
great day.
Go out and do something positive. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Health Vibes. You were listening to Health Vibes, a production of Jolly's Pharmacy Limited.
Yes. Thank you, Coolmet Studio. Me can't do it on the music, no. Yeah. The vibe show.